Welcome in, everyone. Today we're diving into something a little different.
Okay.
Yeah, a little bit different. The concept of a witch.
Okay.
But, and this is important, as understood in some African cultures.
Interesting.
Yeah, and before you picture, Halloween costumes and pointy hats and all that.
Right. Right.
I promise, this is way more interesting.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
So we're digging into some lecture notes, probably from a bigger course on world religions or anthropology, something like that.
Okay.
The detail in here is fascinating.
Yeah, they really are.
Yeah.
You know how much I love exploring different cultural perspectives, and this deep dive into witchcraft is no exception.
Right.
We're not out to prove or disprove anything,
Right.
just to try to understand how these beliefs really shape lives.
Okay, so let's unpack this.
No,
The source we're working with paints a very vivid picture of the witch as like the ultimate villain,
Okay.
embodying everything that disrupts harmony and brings trouble into a community.
Right. And what makes it even more intriguing, I think, is the source of that evil.
Okay.
It doesn't come from some like external, devil figure like in many other belief systems.
Yeah, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
Here's where it gets really interesting for me. The source suggests that evil comes from within.
Okay.
It's rooted in the person's heart, maybe even their liver.
Oh, wow.
Who knew livers could be so sinister?
Right.
And get this, even grumpy ancestors can be the source of evil.
Huh. It's a fascinating take on morality, isn't it?
It really is.
The idea that evil is this internal struggle, perhaps coming from like unchecked desires or, breaking societal taboos.
Right.
You actually see this concept echoed in other cultures too.
Really?
Yeah, where succumbing to temptation or disrupting like social order is seen as the root of evil.
Right. It makes you wonder how blame and social control function within this worldview.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, the lecture notes mentioned something else that really caught my eye.
Okay.
If someone is considered a witch upon death, their name is completely wiped from memory, never to be spoken again.
Wow, that's a powerful statement.
Yeah.
It speaks volumes about the significance of names and legacies in this culture.
Yeah.
Erasing a witch's name isn't just about, forgetting the individual, but it's about severing any lingering influence they might have.
It's like they're trying to protect the community from beyond the grave.
It is.
That's some intense stuff.
It is. And you can actually see parallels to other cultural practices throughout history.
Yeah.
Think about damnatio memoria in ancient Rome, where they tried to erase the memory of disgraced individuals by destroying their statues and removing their names from inscriptions.
Wow.
It's a way of controlling narratives and shaping collective memory, even after death.
It's fascinating.
Yeah.
So we've established that witches are bad news in this context, but what are they actually believed to do?
Right, like what's in their arsenal of mischief?
Exactly.
Well, the lecture notes list a whole range of activities that are attributed to witches,
Okay.
from causing illness and misfortune
Yeah.
to stirring up trouble within the community.
Right.
It's like they embody all the anxieties surrounding unpredictable events,
It reminds me of how people used to blame fairies or mischievous spirits for things that they couldn't explain.
Right.
Like you spill some salt or you trip over a crack on the sidewalk and it's like, bam,
Exactly.
must be those pesky fairies.
It's the same kind of impulse, isn't it?
Yeah.
To find an explanation, a face to put on the unknown.
Right.
And in a society where you don't have, readily available access to modern science or social safety nets.
Right.
Blaming a witch for illness or hardship can be a way to make sense of a world that often feels very chaotic and unfair.
So it's like the witch becomes a scapegoat for all the things that people can't control.
Yeah, you could say that.
But here's what throws me for a loop.
Okay.
The notes also mention witches having a hand in shaping morals
Okay.
and even like helping people succeed.
Yeah.
Isn't that a little contradictory? Like, are they a force for good or for evil?
That duality, I think, is exactly what makes this whole concept so fascinating.
Yeah.
On the one hand, you have witches representing everything to be feared and avoided.
Right.
A cautionary tale of what happens when you stray from, whatever the right path is.
Right.
But on the other hand, they embody this certain kind of forbidden power.
Yeah.
The ability to kind of bend the world to your will,
Right.
even if it means breaking the rules.
So it's like this twisted ambition.
Yeah.
Like you're terrified of them, but maybe also a little curious about what they're capable of.
Precisely, and that this complexity is likely what makes these beliefs so enduring.
Yeah.
They tap into our deepest fears and desires,
Right.
offering both a warning and a temptation at the same time.
It makes you wonder if there are any like modern parallels in our own lives.
Oh, yeah.
Like what do we consider unforgivable?
Right. What figures or groups embody our anxieties in a similar way?
Yeah, that's a great question.
It is.
It's something to ponder as we kind of delve further into how these beliefs play out in everyday life.
Because it's not just about abstract concepts and ancient stories, right?
Oh. Right, it's not. It's about real people and how these beliefs actually play out.
Yeah, this isn't just some like abstract idea.
Right.
The lecture notes are very clear about that they talk about how witches are dealt with.
Yeah.
And it's pretty sobering stuff.
Yeah.
We're talking, painful death in some cases.
Yeah.
Being completely ostracized from the community.
Right.
It's serious business.
Yeah, you can really feel the weight of these beliefs, that potential for them to be used for harm.
Oh, absolutely.
Just the accusation alone. Imagine the fear of being labeled a witch.
Right.
Of having your entire life turned upside down just because someone pointed a finger at you.
And that's that social aspect that I find particularly fascinating.
Yeah.
The notes specifically call out denunciation is key.
Right.
This isn't a private matter.
Right.
It's about the entire community kind of drawing a line in the sand and saying, this is unacceptable.
Yeah.
You are outside the bounds of what we tolerate.
Yeah. Which, again, makes you think about those parallels in our own world. Maybe not literal witch hunts anymore, but think about cancel culture, public shaming.
Yeah.
How quickly someone can be ostracized for holding the wrong views.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different context, but those same social dynamics are still very much alive.
It's about social control, isn't it?
Yeah.
About reinforcing what a society values and punishing those who threaten it.
Right, and it goes back to that chilling phrase from the lecture notes.
Yes.
The idea of the witch is the most powerful symbol of what not to be.
It really stuck with me, too. And it makes you think, if the witch embodies everything a culture fears and rejects, what does that say about their aspirations?
Right. What are they striving towards by so vehemently pushing against this archetype?
Exactly. It's like holding up this distorted mirror to society and saying, this is everything we're not.
Wow.
And everything you should avoid becoming.
That's a powerful thought to end on. It's not just about witches and potions. It's about understanding the deeper anxieties, the beliefs, the values that shape a culture, both then and now.
It makes you wonder what our own witches say about us, doesn't it?
It really does, and I think that's the beauty of a good deep dive.
It is.
It's not just about learning new information. It's about using that knowledge to ask bigger questions and gain a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Thanks for joining me on this deep dive. Until next time.